Gentlemen, let me preface what I'm about to do by saying that there's about 7 things I should be doing instead, but I'm gonna do this now. So I'm dying to get this BMW 330e hybrid battery pack into the Rabbit. The plan is that we'll just take that battery pack, flip it upside down or right side up, and install it in there. Let me show you what we're looking at. Okay, let's get this lid in here and see how this would fit. So this is the battery box lid, obviously. What we notice is that our spare tire is off center. So here I am taking a look at this. That's the idea. I'm gonna get you closer, point out a couple issues. Let me get you in here and show you what I'm looking at. At first glance, it appears like it fits. There are a couple issues here. There's a bracket here that was for some sort of a sensor maybe. If that's trimmed, we can move it closer to the edge, maybe half an inch. What we want to notice is that the spare tire is off center, so it's closer to the right side. It's maybe 3 inches away there from the shock tower, where it's at least twice that, if not 3 times further on the left side, the driver's side in the States. So I'm just going to drop this pack right over where the tire goes and not fret over it being off center. I'm gonna live with that just to make it easier on the first pass. We can also see that this lid isn't really straight. It kind of has a section that bulges out a bit. So I need to see if that will work and fit, or if it corresponds with the shell. Let me go check. So here we are looking at the shell of the box, and you can see it does have that section that protrudes out. Even if we were to trim it on the top, I think it does it on the bottom. It's sort of around the area of the safety box. Maybe it's for some sort of extra lip, extra protection. So all these things you want to notice when you're cutting the opening, right? And know that there's enough room. I may try this lid from underneath to ensure that there's plenty of clearance. That would be a good idea. Of course, the lid has a lip and it overlaps maybe by 1 inch all the way around. I think the actual box may be a bit smaller. See how there's this, maybe not so, because it's got a section there. So the lid is the size of the box. We'll just go with that. So let me show you the part I'm talking about when it comes to trimming. See these brackets here, that one, this one, that held some wiring harness, and this one. I'm gonna trim all these off because every inch helps to fit this thing in the back of the Rabbit. So I'm gonna trim those off, and also hope to bend them over to cause this lip. This has a slight lip, so it should look nice and fit in there. These things do not protrude out on the case itself, only on the lid. And just like that, guys, we are flush. This is nice and straight now. This should get us straight to the edge. So let's carry this over to the Rabbit and pop it in. There she is. Again, our spare tire is off center. You can see, obviously. The muffler went to its left. That's why it's off center. Here we go. And now you can see what I was talking about. This runs straight flush against the edge, and from what I saw underneath, every bit helps. Now this appears like there's some spacage here, which could be a good sign if we can actually move it forward, you know. Even though we cut that bottom piece out, made it flush, that's okay. Can we move it up? You know, it would be cool if we could move this up. There is a support bracket. I think that's not till like right there though. Is that it? Yeah, I'm gonna have to look again. I think the support bracket runs here. So maybe this needs to go up anyway. I'm gonna have to double check. Forget about that. And she's out. Pretty good cut, needs some trimming. Only one area of concern, and that is here. I didn't account for that rail, so I didn't cut it. I kind of cut the top here a little bit, not through it, and maybe there's enough lip there that I'm perfect, or maybe 1/8 of an inch, quarter max off. But here's that rail. So that is the front of it. The back is there, and I need to, this will get trimmed obviously, but I need to make sure there's enough space behind it. So let me see if I can trim a little bit more off of that. That's great. Okay, how is this gonna fit? That's great. So I'm trying to fit this battery pack, and I've tried to fit it from underneath, and it's not gonna happen from underneath because of this. What is this thing called on a Rabbit? On any car, really. This butt, this part. See how it scoops? Can I show you my scooping hand? Kind of scoops under it. That would have to be probably straight down, and there's no way I'm sacrificing styling for this. So I tried to put it in from the bottom. That didn't work, so now we're dropping it from the top. And it's close, you know. The goal is that it has to make it in front of that rail. We have a little bit more room to give. I'm gonna trim that rail some more. Whew, and see what happens. This is gonna be the world's worst video, sorry. Can you guys see in there? Hopefully you can drop some more. Yeah, I'm gonna try to figure something out. So we got the pack, the empty battery pack in the Rabbit. And unfortunately she cannot sit flush. Okay, so it's sitting about 2 inches up above the trunk lid or trunk floor. So we do lose that many cubic feet when it comes to running moonshine, but we should be all right. I am going to build some sort of a frameage around it, and you know, that should work. I really don't care that it's a little bit taller. Be nice if it was mounted from underneath and flush, but it is what it is. It's also slightly off center because of that's where the wheel well went. Spare tire, but it's fine. I'm cool with it. Good enough for this garage. Good enough for good enough garage, y'all. That took some doing. It was a dirty phase of the project, yet another dirty phase. But hey, it is what it is. And here it is, the belly. Looks pretty good. This right here was the problem, the way it scoops under. But I got her under there. Oops. It's gonna get sealed nicely somehow. I have to build a frame either under or above it. Probably inside the trunk. But yeah, I'm happy with this. Good enough for this garage. Let's see if I can show you that rail. So this is the stock rail that runs all the way across. So I have to fit between that and the butt of the car. But it's in there. It's in there, all the cutouts for all the doodadness. Allow me to explain the science behind attempting to mount this battery pack in the back of the Rabbit. We're gonna try something, well, fairly common for the Greg. We're gonna tap into some stock bolts here. They hold on the rear bumper, I guess. So there's one on either side, obviously, or a pair of them on either side. We're going to run angle iron along the back and weld some bracketry to those two bolts. And let me show you then what the rest of this is going to look like. So here's some angle iron. Apologies for the okay, so this is going to be probably the general idea. This is angle iron, and the plan is to have it sit kind of in the back, scoop under the battery pack, and it will then bolt into the stock locations, or these clamps. Now that I'm seeing this, I wonder if this is a bit too aggressive of an angle iron, meaning it's like a 1.5 by 1.5. Maybe I need like a 1 inch. But the thing is, I need it tall on one end and shallow on the other. Anyway, I'm rambling, but here you can see kind of little problems you run into. There's this little nostril nipple thing. Serves no purpose that I know of. I'm sure it did something fascinating on the actual Beamer, but I'll probably have to cut this off just to give me more flatability to wedge the angle iron under. So let me try to do that and see how things start fitting. Oftentimes when it comes to EV conversions, we come across something called hull transferability, where we want to use the stock mounting brackets or the stock mounting hulls and adapt them to the vehicle via our own bracketry. So here I am patting myself on the back for perfectly transferring 2 such hulls. I still have 2 more to do on this end to mount this battery pack, but I figure I'll show this off now before I ruined it. So this was the stock bracket, and as you can see, it's just completely perfect. So yeah, I'm just trying not to sprain my elbow patting myself on the back. Pretty proud of that. This is going to be the crossbar that goes behind the battery pack and mounts inside the Rabbit against these. I think these are rear bumper screws, bolts. So I'll remove those. I'm gonna make some sort of makeshift bracketry here. And that bar is gonna go all the way across and to the other side. So here I'm working on something else. A lot of times when you're designing things, well, in my case anyway, it's limited by your inventory of random scrap bits in your shed of stuff. You know, the metal that wasn't good enough for a prior project that now all of a sudden is the perfect part for this project. So yeah, this is gonna be cut to length. That's gonna be a rear bracket. I hope to have this one done tonight, and then I'm gonna start focusing on something to do with these front brackets that go down there. And hopefully we'll have the battery pack mounted soon. Move on to the next thing. All right, so my OCD got the best of me, and looks like I'm gonna chop suey a symmetrical, even hull in the middle. It's gonna be a little bit too wide for the box, but on a serious note, the reason I'm doing this is so that I have access to the side mounts to weld, and also so that when the battery pack is in the middle, the load is distributed evenly, and I don't have one bracket that's twice as long as the other. So yeah, we're gonna cut the hole bigger, put the battery pack in here, and work on the front brackets. So here's a trial fit of the rear battery pack mounting bracket. It took a little bit of nip and tucking, but I prefer to make things shorter and fit perfectly than cut twice and it still be too short. Okay, so that fits, and then now I'm gonna work on the end pieces here. For the end pieces, I custom ordered this random post I literally found on the side of the road. This is something inches by something inches, like 2.5 by 2.5. So I lopped off 8 inches. This part goes away, it's extra for the next conversion. And here's my big 8-inch piece for the sides. This is going to get cut to make 2 angle brackets basically. The angle iron I have, like this one, is only like 1.5 inches maybe, and I needed 2.5. So that will make the end pieces like so. Get out of here, little guy. And these will get welded up. Yeah, and that should give us the side brace somehow, some way. I reckon. I think that could work. All right, I'll keep at it. And just like that, there were 2. So these are identical now. One side's slightly longer than the other, meaning width-wise. So both of them have a little bit longer side and shorter. So this side's gonna go just towards the wall. On the account of look how low the bolts are. They're not in the middle of this. They're towards the bottom, so these are more than adequate. And now here's the question, how do we weld this? I think maybe if I cut this on a diagonal, that's actually a good idea, Greg. That's gonna give me the most surface area or miles per weld for the longest bead. So I might do that and weld those up. Yeah, cut this at an angle, that at an angle. Scooch 'em in, because I measured these to be long enough to absorb both bolts. Bringing you along for the spitballing process, gentlemen. This is the spitballing part, okay? We spitball. Okay, so I'm gonna go for it, and this is interesting how, everything is slanted, you know, the frame that isn't like this, it's wider, it widens out a slight bit. Then this back, it's not vertical, it leans back slightly. You can see down here it scoops. I mean, we don't build shoeboxes for cars, we build twisty turny cars. Okay, I need to pull off this angle. This angle of the dangle is crucial. Oh, and another thing, this is a fun bit. So this bracket won't go like that. I'm exaggerating, but it actually has to go like this to meet that wall. So nothing is easy. Nothing is easy. All right, let me let me think on it. And I'm gonna need to make those cuts. And it's best to probably take these out to get that angle right. Oh, boyish. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. EV converters. Let's liberate some bolts. Wow, it's easy. Okay. Nothing fell on my foot yet, so let's keep going. Good job, Bumblebee. One more. Whoa. I'm holding the bumper with my knees. I'm not a total idiot. Nothing. Okay, nothing happened. And these are ovalized. That leaves room for error. Okay, cool. I'll be back. All right, so we put this piece back in. I color code and I labeled my sides here, my brackets. Don't be too proud to label them. This one says pass. This one says DRV. I'm putting them on the right sides. Man, this little feller is getting in the way. Little guy. Oh, that's so frustrating when you're trying to build such high quality situations. So now I'm gonna spend 9 hours getting rid of that guy. How do you, what? I gotta zip doodah doo you? And after I cut you, you're gonna fit anyway? Dang it. Well, let's do it the long way. Fatigue. Well, he didn't leave too big of a hole behind. Pardon me while I sand that smooth. Oh, perfect. Yeah, I can tell if I apply Pythagorean theorem that this does anglize slightly out now, ever so slightly. And I gotta make sure I don't cut this foolishly, so I need to cut it that way somehow. Hey, Don't you move. So I gotta cut it like that. See, if I cut it the wrong way, then I'm shooting myself in the toe. So like this. And then it's a kind of approximation of the situation here. Yeah. Okay. Nothing to it but to do it. Battery pack test fit, take 974. Wow, that fit? That's crazy talk. Okay. This is really interesting. Huh. Alright guys, so trial fit of the battery pack. And I'm actually glad it sits higher than flush with the floor of the trunk because it doesn't protrude that far down. And every inch helps in that category. Let me slide these back in. So, look at that. Perfect fit. The other side is just the same. Trust me, no need to show you that one. It's just perfect as well. Yeah, so this is pretty cool, man. These are tricked. These are flipped upside down. So this is the, right now on the left side, but that's the right one. And this one here is the opposite, right? And it may not seem like a whoop-de-whoop, but they are L-shaped, like angle irons. So by flipping them around, I raised the pack by about 1.5 inches, leveling it with its butt. So yeah, this can work. I just got to work on some mounts for these, and the frame actually goes out all the way to meet that bracket. So if I can extend the frame a little bit by welding something to it, we are set. I want to share something with you guys. Taking pleasure in a small victory. So here I have a bracket. I spent quite a bit of time on this, and I worked on it a few days ago. I walked away, then I came back, and I think maybe that's what bit me. And that is that these bolts, they are not the same height from the base. The one on the left is lower, the one on the right is higher. But as you can see, my low blue line down below, that was my guide, so I had to elongate the bolt hole on the right. I totally sympathize, or I should say maybe I blame Matt from Open Inverter Forum. Not Fast Matt, the other Matt, we'll call him the other Matt. He joked how, you know, I'm flying working on this car and he's spending days on the bracket. So thanks a lot, Matt. Appreciate it. But what I wanted to show you is just, oh, how nice it is when things work and fit. Come on now. So this is an 18 millimeter. That's quite rare, I think. You know, I don't know if 18s are popular. You guys let me know. I think 18's like equivalent of the popularity of the 11/16. Not the same size, I don't think, just the popularity. Like
You never use the 11/16 till you go to do something with, I think, like the control arms on Chevy trucks. And then it's like, oh, it's not a 5/8, it's not a 3/4. What the hell is it? Oh, it's 11/16. Craftsman sales guy told you about this, but you didn't listen. So yeah, I'm gonna take my time and tighten this bracket up, only to learn that I'll have to loosen it back up to do the other side. But very happy with this fit. My brain is already thinking, how am I going to reinforce it? Maybe some sort of truss like this to hold this piece, you know, for the battery pack, because that's what it's doing. And then we have to go to this side and play the game again on here, this side and on this side. So the fun part and everything is that there's caulking here, and it does make a difference. You have to remove that. I stripped the corner, and this is what I'm talking about. With the caulking, it's a bit hard to see, but the bolt hole, this one is higher. It's up more than this one, which is lower. So yeah, I mean, I know you're here to see an electric conversion, but 92.85% is dealing with bullshit like this. First things first, whenever I say gentlemen, I mean the royal gentlemen, including the ladies. So let's just get that out of the way. I know you guys can't see me and you just see talking hands, but just like the 3 key ingredients to great French cooking are butter, butter, and butter, what are the 3 key ingredients to good welding? Grounds, grounds, grounds. Good grounds, that is. So, if we're going to be tacking or welding on this side, let's not ground to this side. You want your ground to be as close to the part you're welding as possible. Now, am I the last guy on earth to give welding instructions and tips? Yes. Is that going to prevent me from giving you instructions and tips? No. So, we want to get this cable out of the way. We're just going to tack. Okay, I don't mean to brag, but I am a certified tack welder. I may even throw on some actual welding gloves for this. Okay, I talked a big game. Now let's see if I can lay down some solid bird poop tack welds. Of course, I can't see anything. I'm just tacking. Just some gentle tacks. Okay, maybe that will do it. We're going to move our ground to the other side. Now, will I show you a close-up of the final weld, the final product? Of course not. Let's not split hairs. Do I have to tack handed? This makes no sense. There's no way I ran out of wire. No way. Nope, not out of wire.
So what now? What's your problem now? I cannot see anything with that helmet on. Wax on, wax off. If I can pull off these brackets, I'm going to be very happy. Are looking pretty cool. Really. Whew, okay. Now I gotta take the pack out. How does it come out? I forgot. Maybe this way. Just go up. Oh, nice. Is it that tight? Oh, great. Seriously? This better not be on camera. That's what I like to call a perfect fit. Easy. So now I need to remove these 4 screws, and I can't find my attachment to use my impact on this, of course. So we're just using the stock screws from the BMW 330 pack. For once we get to reuse them, maybe we'll see if they'll work and fit on the final implementation. Never know. Ah, that's a good place for a mic. Maybe you heard some of that, maybe you didn't. Super. Okay, and this is the bracket, so it's actually upside down. Just looks like this, and I just need to weld it now in here. Yep. Time to give her a good old welding, and I'll be back. Good, the wind has just picked up. Here we are, guys. welcome to the suck. I am sitting in what used to be the wheel well, spare tire well, and showing you this here with a torch because the lighting sucks, but this is a frame rail that needs to be cleaned up because we're gonna weld to this a bracket for the battery pack. We need to plate off what is this cross member. Sorry, it's so tight in here. You know, I don't have room for all of you. So plate this. Same thing on this side. This side is a little bit more civilized. Maybe this guy was having a better day, or they ran out of this stuff that they glued on there. But I need to remove that so I can weld to it some sort of bracket. So let me do that. The rear bracket looks really good. It's been welded and now it's on here temporarily as a final trial fit before primer, paint, media blasting, powder coating, chrome plating, you know what I'm saying. All right guys, here's one side. This is the driver's side and it's all cleaned up where it's gonna get welded. That may be okay. Then there's going to be a picture a 2" by 2" square kind of going like this. Maybe clean this up to plate that one. Started cleaning up this one. This stuff actually had to be cleaned up underneath as well. Yeah, we'll get to the EV conversion part. I want to show you this side that's not touched yet. This is the side I have to do as well, obviously. So yeah, looking forward to this. Not one iota, but it has to get done. EV converters of all ages. Let's spitball here. So here's what I was talking about. It's yay thick and yay long. I'm calling this a 2x2 square. I happen to have 2 of them. They were not good enough for some other project, but they are sure gonna be good enough for this. So the plan is to attach them like so. I am sorry about the wiggly camera. There might be some notching, what have you. It depends on how much room we have when the pack is in there. But yeah, put those on both sides. I still have to do some more wire reeling, but I'm getting there. Wire reeling, plating, and the battery pack will be mounted. So I want to show you where those 2x2s are going to attach to the battery pack. Basically, they will be going right here, like so. So this part where my hand is holding it will be welded to the frame. Then, you know, drill some holes. Probably captivating nuts or something like that, since I already have some. And Bob's your uncle. All right, EV converters, we got one side in. That's the cord from my chicken coop light. So one side is plated and angleized, bracketized. Ooh, warm. This was hard. If I was in decent position, then my welder would act up. And when I was in a crappy position, the welder would work. So yeah, excuses. I think I'm gonna skip SEMA this year. Just not feeling it. So tomorrow I gotta do this side. Plate that and put a bracket here. I started, you know, stitch welding that superficial cut. That was just sheet metal on top of the frame that I cut, and there was no need for it. So it's a coming along. This is very strong to support the front of the bracket. It's welded up here on this side, on the inside, and underneath. So it's held onto that cross member. And then it's welded underneath and then welded here. You'd be amazed how strong sheet metal is. So, you know, For all the folks out there that overbuild, I'm underbuilding, so we'll average out to be just great. Plate turned out all right. It wasn't the best. Like the easiest part that I wanted to really make look really nice right here ended up looking like dog shit because somehow that metal got sunk in and wouldn't become flush with it. So it's solid, it's gonna be hidden. If I'm lucky, I'll get some of that white asbestos paste that VW used in the factory. Smear about 4 pounds of it on there, should be good. Okay, I couldn't help myself and I just had to get the battery pack in there. Of course, taking it out is gonna be a bear as she's a tight fit, but the bracket is in here. It's even tightened down with not only a rusty bolt or screw, but it may or may not be a self-tapper. I don't know how you guys secure your high voltage battery packs, but I highly don't recommend using self-tappers. Don't do what I do. That is not going anywhere. Plus it's gonna get another doodad on this side, same dealio. It's like, they're not symmetrical. That is starting to bother me. Holes on one end are roundish, holes on the other end are squarish. I shouldn't have seen that before bedtime. But, oh man, this is coming along. The corners are in. Good stuff. Today I got the other side patched. I had a bit of a better welding day. Started out kind of rocky, and then all of a sudden, without changing anything, it just started welding pretty good. Maybe it was my ground. I did move it around a little bit. But the problem when you're welding in this cockpit and you're under the car, you have to crawl out, get to the welder, make some adjustments, then crawl back in. And I know, first world problems, but you might say, well, why don't you move the machine closer to you? The problem is that you gotta feed that wire and you don't want very bendy and tight. So I move that machine kind of as far as I can and maintain a straight line. I mean, it can have some bends and twists and turns in it, but you know what I'm saying? It's just not this slalom. So now we have to mount the 2x2 like we did here. And I really like how that turned out. So I just gotta do the other side. I'll be back. And the battery pack is in, it's done. Front bracket done, other front bracket done. And then of course the rear bracket is done. I don't know how long this took, maybe 3 or 4 days. EV conversion amnesia is already kicking in. So I don't remember. The rear bracket was supposed to take a day and the front was supposed to take another day, but I forgot that I need to plate that cross member that runs in front of this pack here behind what would have been the rear seat. And the reason we had to patch that is because the original cavity, the original opening was roundish for the spare tire. And this is squarish, if you will. So let me get the light in the front. I need to get a good light. If you guys can recommend something nice that you can like fluorescent or whatever it is. Well, not fluorescent, LED I should say. This one is horrible. This light is absolutely atrocious. So I'm showing you the front. See how this still has a bit of a roundness to it? Because that's where the spare tire was. So, and I wonder how much of this brown stuff is horrible. Probably all of it. I'm thinking that this is where the charger is gonna go instead of the engine bay, as dictated by its cord length to the charge port, which on this car we're going to put where the fuel filler was, because that's what all the cool kids are doing. And I know how you guys feel about me opening up my trunk hood to charge. A lot of guys feel that Dusty may get stolen. Appreciate that. Look at this beauty. Man, it just needs everything, and then it'll be done.